Okay, as example 2, it's going to be using the period to evaluate sine and cosine. And essentially what the period means is that if I have my circle going once around the graph in my circle, that's called 1 period. If I go around the graph a second time, it's called 2 periods. Essentially, if I have an angle right here, let's say this is pi over 4, that pi over 4 is going to have the exact same sine and cosine value and tangent, cotangent, secant, and cosecant values as the angle that goes all the way around once, then back to that same angle. And so since angles are called coterminal, they're going to have the same sine value and all that kind of stuff. So here when it says find the sine of 13 pi over 6, let's add to that one time that 1 period does equal 2 pi. And so since this angle is larger than 2 pi, I would know that 13 pi over 6 is the same thing as 12 pi over 6 plus 1 pi over 6. And since 12 pi over 6 is 2 pi, by using the concept of period, I would find the sine of 13 pi over 6 by finding the sine of pi over 6. Now I didn't just come up with some random number. I had to basically take out 2 pi to help me do this. So now I go to my circle. Pi over 6 is right here. We know that sine is y, so the sine of is going to be 1/2. Sine of pi over 6 is 1/2. Therefore, the sine of 13 pi over 6, which is a coterminal angle to pi over 6, is also 1/2. Okay? Let's do cosine of negative 7 pi over 2. Well, negative 7 pi over 2, if I take out a 2 pi, it's going to be like this. So if I basically make it the cosine of negative 2 pi negative 7 pi over 2 is negative 2 pi plus negative 3 pi over 2. And I know this because negative 2 pi is negative 4 pi over 2. Negative 4 plus negative 3 is negative 7. So I took out a 2 pi, and that means the cosine of negative 7 pi over 2 is going to be equal to the cosine of negative 3 pi over 2. Well, we know cosine is the x value, so I go to my circle. Negative 3 pi over 2 means I go backwards, so zoop, that's negative pi. 90 more degrees is negative 3 pi over 2. You get to the ordered pair 0, 1. Therefore, the cosine of negative 7 pi over 2 is going to be 0, because the ordered pair was 0, 1. Now here for C, when you look at page 269, it wants us to find the sine of t. It says the sine of t is equal to 4/5. What's the sine of negative t? Well, if we look at this chart here on page 269, what this tells us is that the sine of negative t is going to be equal to the negative sine of t. So put in the number sine of negative 4/5 is going to be equal to negative the sine of 4/5. So it's going to look like this. So the sine of negative t, so the sine of negative t is going to be equal to the negative sine of t. Well, the sine of t is 4/5, so it's going to be equal to negative 4/5, like that. I want you to go ahead and try number 41, which says find the cosine of 8 pi over 3. Okay, you should have pressed pause. If you haven't, go ahead and do that now. But the answer should be negative 1/2. Let's see how we get to that. Well, I'm going to take 8 pi over 3. I notice that if I take out 2 pi, in terms of thirds, that is 6 pi over 3. And so 8 pi over 3 is 6 pi over 3, or 2 pi, plus 2 pi over 3, which means it's also equal to the cosine of 2 pi over 3. If I go in my circle to find 2 pi over 3, which is located right here, cosine is x. The x value is negative 1/2. That's how you get negative 1/2 for the answer number 41.